The 15th of February 2009 was an historic date for Real Madrid.
González Blanco scores his 308th goal in a Real Madrid shirt to surpass Alfredo Di Stefano's all-time scoring record.
If I had known that this would turn into a goal-scoring competition, then I'd have scored a lot more.
Di Stefano's record had stood for nearly 45 years. Now it was broken by Raúl, who'd arrived at Real Madrid as a 15-year-old.
Even as a kid, he was always destined to make it at the highest level.
Played when he was 17, scored this goal, scored that goal, broke this record, went on his way to break every single record.
He's a fighter, and he's a Madridista through and through.
So many types of goals, easy ones, difficult ones. I'm always thinking about goals. It's the most important thing in a match. You can play well for 90 minutes, but if you don't score, you don't win.
Madrid is a city that always thinks big, and Raúl has made one of the biggest statements of all, breaking goal-scoring records for Spain and Real Madrid, becoming one of the symbols of the city. But it all started in one of the more obscure suburbs to the south of the city, San Cristobal de los Ángeles. He was born there on the 27th of June 1977 and attended school at Ramón Gómez de la Serna. But it was just beyond the school gates that Raúl found his passion, at the local football club, a youth team in the district. Raúl started to play there as an 11-year-old, and one person who remembers the young Raúl is Renato de la Cour, one of his first coaches.
We had players who were technically better than Raúl, but none of them worked as hard as him. When he arrived at training, he would be working when his mates were standing around chatting. Above all, he's a fighter. Technically, he wasn't a world beater as a footballer, but he just worked so hard.
As a southern suburb of Madrid, San Cristobal is a stronghold of Atletico Madrid support, and Raúl was no exception. His father, Don Pedro, was a passionate Atletico fan, and his son made him a very happy man when Raúl joined Atletico as a youngster at the age of 13.
He was Atletico through and through, and his father was too. Then, everything changed.
So Raúl started out at Atletico's Vicente Calderón stadium rather than the Bernabeu. But famously, Atletico's volatile president, Jesus Gil, disbanded the youth scheme, and Raúl was left with nowhere to go but neighbours Real Madrid, who were more than pleased to take him.
It was a change for the good. Atletico are a great club, but the truth is they didn't put too much into the youth system at the time. Real Madrid gave me a call, and I don't think there's a better place to improve your game. They've produced so many great players. Personally, I think he's a traitor. But seriously, I'm very proud to have worked with him, to have known him before the whole world knew him when he was young. Hats off to him.
So Raúl had made it to the Bernabeu, but still he was one of hundreds trying to make it as a professional. His dedication took him to Madrid's third team, where he caught the attention of the coach, Jorge Valdano.
Mentally, he was fantastic. He was intelligent, ambitious, and very competitive. He had this incredible dynamism. He wasn't necessarily a very strong player, not particularly fast, or even that great technically. The secret of his success was in his head.
For
me, Valdano has been really important because of the confidence he gave me and the values he taught me. There I was at 17 years of age, a child playing for the best team in the world, with all that pressure, all that responsibility. But the confidence he showed in me, it helped a lot.
I can remember the day before I was going to give him his debut, I went up to him and said, "I'm thinking of playing you tomorrow, but I'm afraid you might be a bit nervous." And he said to me, "Well, if you want to win, then play me. If you don't want to win, put someone else in the team." He had such extraordinary self-belief, especially for the kid that he was.
The debut came on the 29th of October 1994 against Real Zaragoza, and Raúl became the youngest player ever to play for Real Madrid. He was just 4 months past his 17th birthday, and a week later there was an even more significant game for the former Atletico fan.
That's one of my best memories, making my debut in the Bernabeu, and the goal I scored. I don't think I've ever celebrated any goal as much as that. It was a dream come true. I was in heaven. It was great for me and my family, my parents and my friends.
And from that day on, everyone knew that Raúl was destined to become one of the greats.
And once the youngster was established in the team, the goals just kept coming.
Raúl is all about goals. He always had the edge over everyone else inside the area because he was so clever. His thinking was much quicker than his opponent, and he was so intelligent.
He was a player that always knew where the goal was and knew exactly what he had to do when he was in the area and when he received the ball. He was always there. Sometimes you didn't know where he was, but he would just pop up and score a goal.
It was always on my mind. I was looking out for any chance, any half chance of defensive error that could lead to a goal.
Raúl quickly became a star of the Primera Liga. He won his first league title in 1995 and another followed in 97, with Raúl voted the best player in La Liga that season. At the end of the season, a new strike partner joined. Fernando Morientes teamed up with Raúl to form one of the deadliest strike partnerships in Europe.
We knew each other well because we'd played for the under-20s at national level, and we complemented each other so well. We both brought in different qualities. He scored because of his movement, and I would play down the middle and make the space for him. He was so strong when he burst into the area and scored so many goals.
By the time Morientes arrived, Raúl was already well established in the national team, and in time he became Spain's captain and top goal scorer.
Playing for Spain is the ultimate. Ever since I was young, the Spanish national team has always been the #1 team for me. It's fantastic to put that shirt on, to score goals for them and to help them to victory.
He is the kind of person who always wants more. It was always an honour for him to play for Spain. And he brought that spirit to the national team. He gave everything and scored some very important goals. Raúl always has been and always will be the benchmark for the Spanish team because of his charisma and his professionalism both on and off the pitch. He set the standards against which every new Spanish player would judge themselves.
But it was with Madrid that Raúl was to have the most significant moments of his career. Success, though, at Real Madrid would always be measured against those distant glory days that were always filmed in black and white. The days when Alfredo Di Stefano was the king of the Bernabeu and Madrid ruled the football world.
That's the way it has to be. The club has to build on its success. It's like a burning light, and without trophies, that light flickers and dies. We need to keep it burning.
It had been 32 years since Real Madrid had won a European Cup final, but in 1998 normal service was resumed. It was like the 1950s once again, this time in colour.
Finally, Real Madrid was back in a European Cup final, and we lived the whole season for that one match, just to win that one match. We were up against Juventus, one of the best teams around at the time, with so many great players like Zidane and Del Piero.
I have great memories, not just because it was unbelievably tense the week before the game, like I've never felt before a match, but also because Real Madrid hadn't won this competition for 32 years.
We had the chance to make history, and we did just that. With that goal from Mijatovic, we did it. And it was fantastic. People weren't just celebrating in Madrid, but throughout the whole of Spain. It was such a special moment for the Madridistas, who just wanted to sing about winning another European Cup, because it had been such a long time since we won the last one. 2 years later, we had another chance to play in the final. This time against a Spanish team, Valencia, who had done really well in the Champions League. It was a final we could enjoy a lot more, because we didn't have the same pressure, there wasn't as much tension.
I particularly remember that era for the winning mentality we had. We seemed to win things easily, and every year we would win something important.
I was lucky enough to score in that final. My son had been born 2 months earlier, so for me it was beautiful. A very special final. The second was much more laid back, and we enjoyed the moment much more.
It's fundamental to Real Madrid because the fans are in love with the European Cup, and they demand that we win it.
With 2 European Cups in 3 seasons, the magic was returning to the grand old club Real Madrid. They were named Team of the 20th Century, and Raúl, like Di Stefano in his time, was becoming Madrid's symbol.
You could almost go so far as to say that Raúl has been much more than Real Madrid's captain over the years. He's almost been a kind of a surrogate president, a surrogate sporting director. He's been at the heart of everything the club's done. Raúl has become more than just a footballer, he's become a kind of a social phenomenon in Spain.
It's impossible to think of Real Madrid without Raúl, or Raúl without Real Madrid. And more than that, he's become a symbol of Spain. I think his importance as a player has transcended Madrid, and he has become a national symbol. He's been a source of great pride for Spain, a nation that has lacked a figure like Raúl, who has symbolised our game around the world.
But a new president, Florentino Perez, brought in a new era at Real Madrid, an era of superstar footballers, the Galactico project.
Galacticos was on the one hand the most romantic footballing image ever, and on the other the most cynical footballing image ever, because it wasn't just about great players, it was about sellable players, it was about marketing and about image.
While the marketing men tried to conquer the world with the Real Madrid brand, they risked unbalancing a squad that was already successful on the pitch.
Real Madrid had already won the Champions League twice in 3 seasons, and the fact that 3 or 4 players came in for big money and they were labelled Galacticos, and the likes of Hierro, who was an absolute legend, and maybe Roberto Carlos, who was the greatest left back probably of all time, they were not labelled Galacticos. It was funny, and suddenly these 3 or 4 names were getting marketed to the highest level and everybody else was getting shifted aside, and it was a case of them and us.
Let's just say that the dressing room changed slightly. Beforehand, we'd all been equal, fighting for the same cause. But when this famous phrase Galacticos came along, it spread a little bit of unrest throughout the squad during those years.
Every year, Real Madrid would make it their business to attract a world-class superstar to the Bernabeu. So where did this leave their homegrown star, Raúl?
The Galacticos gave us a connection to the rest of the world, but Raúl connected us to the historical values of Real Madrid. He represented these values because he'd learnt what Real Madrid means, and this came out in the dressing room. So in a sense, he was a leader for all these great players who were arriving at the club at that time.
It's very difficult to call Raúl a Galactico, above all for one very simple reason, and that is that Raúl, more than anybody else, hated the tag of Galactico, hated the notion of the Galacticos and what it meant, because he's a guy who believes that football should be about hard work, about commitment, and he felt things that should be fundamental to sporting success, like meritocracy, like effort, like sweating for the cause, kind of went out the window a bit.
Raúl, though, kept scoring and kept receiving football's personal awards. And after all, winning is what Real Madrid are all about.
There were a lot of great players, but most important was how they were down to earth, just great people. So in one way, it was a brilliant era. But on the other hand, maybe not so great, because we didn't win as much as we should have done, which isn't good at a club like Real Madrid.
Although at times an unbalanced side, the Galacticos did have their moments of brilliance. In 2002, with Figo and Zidane in the side, there was another Champions League final to celebrate. Once again, Raúl was on target with the first. But this final will always be remembered for the goal scored by Zidane.
Even though I scored, that final will always be remembered for Zidane's fantastic goal. It was a magnificent goal, and to be near him when he scored was fantastic too. I think all football fans, not just Real Madrid fans, will have enjoyed that goal.
So another European Cup for the team of the 20th century. It was Madrid's 9th and Raúl's 3rd.
Real Madrid's identification with the European Cup began in the first years of the competition, and it soon became Real Madrid's trademark. And then Raúl winning 3 European Cups, the ones filmed in colour, has given him a very special place in the hearts of the Madridistas.
But it wasn't quite the same for Raúl at international level. Although he's the all-time top scorer for Spain, success was to prove strangely elusive.
I've never really had great memories, because we didn't achieve what we'd set out to do. There were a lot of tournaments, and I scored goals at the World Cup. In Korea, I think we were close to being able to do something big. There were some good moments there, but in the end, our dreams didn't come true on the pitch.
Perhaps the biggest disappointment of Raúl's career came when Luis Aragonés left him out of Spain's campaign for Euro 2008. Raúl wasn't with the national squad, but neither was he forgotten.
Raúl is the heartbeat of the team. He's the best in the Spanish league. Just the best.
Raúl shouldn't be in the team. I'm sorry, he should just play for Madrid, not the national team.
It wasn't someone saying, look at the number of goals Raúl's scoring, a guy that scores this many goals should be in. It was far blunter than that. It was, how dare the national team manager not put this guy in the squad? Obviously, that was one side of the debate. The other side of the debate is there's no way this guy should play. It would be an absolute disgrace if he did. And it's created a situation in Spain where a rational analysis of Raúl has become really quite difficult.
Spain went on to win Euro 2008 under Aragonés, the nation's first trophy for 44 years. But for many, there was something missing: Raúl.
We missed him. It was quite sad to think about Raúl on that night because he has been the most Spanish player, the one who had defended our colours more than anyone else. You could say that winning the Euros without him was a little strange.
I was happy, of course, even if I was a bit envious. I would have liked to have been there. But anyway, I supported the team and I enjoyed it all, because we were the best team.
Back at the Bernabeu, though, Raúl's value had never been in doubt. Against all the odds, another title arrived in 2007, after Madrid had come from behind in the table to beat their rivals Barcelona. It was Real Madrid's 30th Primera Liga title, delivered by their captain and leader.
This title has come from our hard work and togetherness. So I'd like to say thank you to all my teammates, the coaching staff, and this great Real Madrid family.
With every goal Raúl scored, he got closer to Alfredo Di Stefano's all-time goal-scoring record. Then in February 2009, with his 308th goal for Real Madrid, Raúl became their greatest ever goal-scorer.
Raúl is the same for this era as Di Stefano was for his era. And more than anyone, Raúl can express the history of Real Madrid, the sense of what this club represents, and the responsibility. In fact, everything that started with Di Stefano, Raúl expresses today better than anyone.
Naturally, it may take a lot to impress Don Alfredo, the godfather of Real Madrid. But now it seems there are two true legends at the club.
The people love him because he was born here in the city of Madrid. And he's one of the family here at the club.
Raúl González Blanco, the teenager who became the all-time top scorer for Real Madrid.
Real Madrid for me is the biggest club. It's my home and where I grew up as a person. They formed me, made me what I am. It's where many people have helped me along with my career. This is where I've scored goals and played great football. And above all, we've won a lot, which is what everyone in the world wants to do. The day will come when I have to stop playing, but I'm sure I'll be doing something in football at Real Madrid. Because this club is a big part of everything that I am.